Hey everyone, Friendly here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys the basics of any steam locomotive and scrap mechanic and how you should build it. Alright guys, so to start off, obviously you need the wheels. You need to figure out your main driving system and how you're going to do it. If you're very new to trains, I would recommend just starting with this. It's the simplest thing, you can't screw it up. All it is just bearings for the wheels and the coupling rod that connects them all. You cannot screw that up. You just hit the switch, it's powered on one bearing, which will then, with the coupling rod, divert power to the other two wheels, and there you go. That's it. That's all you need to do. The second one doesn't provide any other functional unless you actually want to make your train piston powered, which in that case you can. I think you just need to make that piston an actual piston, and then set up some timings with it. I've never actually made a piston steam train before because, you know, I'm actually a fraud. I just build things that look pretty okay. But it just adds an extra bearing right here, and connect it to another bearing here, connect it to a piston, and turn it on, same function. Also here I have demonstrated that you can connect the engine to the coupling rod bearing instead of the wheel bearing. You just have to make it facing backwards for this one. Now for the last one here, we have something that doesn't provide any other functional benefits at all. In fact, it probably makes it a bit worse, but it just looks a lot cooler because you have an entire different system. Now if you're building an actual piston powered train, this would be used to tell it to go forward or backward, but I don't actually know how to properly do that in scrap mechanic because I've never messed around with it. But this one I think looks pretty cool when it goes around. It sort of just spins around like this. I just thought it looked cool. We have a bearing on the wheel facing this way, then this thing goes the opposite way to make it rotate reverse. So after you guys have figured out how you're going to do your coupling rods, it is important to figure out your wheelbase and how you're going to do it. Now I know a couple ways to do it, about 4 ways, and I'll show you them all here. So to start off, we have the one that pretty much everyone does. This is what everyone does. It really does depend on your train, but this just sort of shows a standard bogey layout that a lot of trains use. So we have the front bogey, which has bearings like this. So the pegs are optional. You can use flanges, but I prefer pegs. A lot of people do flanges. I'm the weird one that does pegs. It's the exact same thing, just one block inwards, and instead of a peg, you put a flange there. But you have pegs on all 4 of these wheels, and you have a bearing here, which allows this bogey to pivot separately from the main wheels here, which again have 4 pegs. You don't want to put one on the middle wheel because then it won't be able to take a really tight corner. This allows it to turn a lot better. And then we just have wheels in the back with pegs by themselves, and normally if you had the bearing right here, it would just flip out mentally, go like that. But since it's here, it can't actually pivot that way because it has to move this entire thing, so that keeps it in line. Now this is what most people do. What I actually do is right here. So I don't put any pegs on the back wheel, and it's solid. I put pegs on the back main driving wheels, and then I put pegs on the back front bogey, the back wheels of the front bogey, and again it doesn't rotate. And what that allows me to do is save a lot of lag. Now I could save lag even more if I used the flanges, but to me the flanges are just big, bulky, and they're not very great to use. Which brings me on to the example with flanges. Now this example could be redone exactly like this one all the way over here. Instead of just where the pegs are, you put flanges. But again, for lag purposes, I personally recommend you make it solid. But you see, you just put a giant flange on the back wheel there, and you put a giant flange on the wheel right here, and that allows it to do the same thing as the pegs. It's a lot bulkier. So after we have decided what our layout's going to be with the wheels, and once we've decided how we're going to do our coupling rods, which again, there's lots of different ways, there's even more ways to do it than that. Those are just like my ways that I normally do. So we do have to choose how we are going to do our funnel. Now this isn't really an important thing. You could just make a static funnel. In that case, you can just skip this part. You don't even need to worry about it. But for most people, this is a great thing to do. Make your funnel actually look like it is steaming. Also, you can do this with the cylinders, and I will show you more about cylinders later on in the video. Okay, so for this, we have this, and it's on a timer. This is a really old way of doing it. I only saw it on a few of X's trains. That's it. I haven't seen it like anywhere else. But it's just on a timer system, and it has a bunch of the depreciated logic gates that turn on and off, and it looks like steam. It's pretty cool. And then if you push this button, it rotates it on a controller, so then it looks like it's going backwards. Now, the other way to do it, which most people do that make steam trains, is with X's new block, which is the steam block. And when the funnel is moving, so if it's moving forward or backward, then it will make steam. Now, I couldn't really be bothered to make this whole platform move just for that, so I put it on a bearing like this, but pretty much once it gets up to speed and it spins, so it doesn't have to be spinning, obviously. If it's moving forward or backward, it will do the same job and it will just make steam. And the cool thing is when it moves forward faster, the steam trail does actually like get higher. It gets a lot more, so it does change based on how far it moves. Now, how I've done this, this is actually a bogey made by my friend Jack, but like this is a really, really good way to save on lag as well, just if you're building a bogey. If you have covers on the front, what you can do is you can put a bearing on the cover and then attach the wheel to that bearing, and you can put a pipe that goes across between the two wheels onto the next wheel. So this one doesn't even need a bearing. So it's one bearing for two wheels, which can help save on lag a lot in one of these situations. Okay, so after we have chosen our funnel, we've chosen how our wheels are going to look, and we've chosen our coupling rods, we are going to move on to how we're going to propel our vehicle. Now, the first way, which is literally the easiest, is take an electric engine or a gas engine. Don't do that. And you can connect it. The reason I connected wheels like this is just, again, to show off how coupling rods work, and they divert power to both sides. So we can turn this, and, well, it moves. That's all there is to it. It moves. That's literally all you need to know. Now, the second way to do it is thruster powered. You know, it's what most people do. It goes pretty much. It just goes, and it's a lot smoother than an electric engine, which stops abruptly. And no one wants that. You don't want an abrupt stop on a train. You want it to be nice and smooth. So that's why me and most people go for thrusters. Now the next option is to do a piston powered train. Now this is the only attempt I have ever made in this game to make a piston powered train, and well, it went pretty terribly actually. Originally I was going to do sensors and a whole system like that. It didn't work. So I have a manual button. I push this switch, it activates the pistons. I deactivate the switch, it deactivates the pistons. And I get myself into a little loop. Once I find that loop, it will actually work. So we just gotta go and we gotta get ourselves into that motion. Sometimes it can be a bit hard, but once you find it, it will go and it will move along. But that's what I got for a piston engine. It's really not great. It just sort of it works, you know, it goes if you push the button a bunch and you manage to do it. I don't recommend this option at all, but I mean it works. Okay, so let's get into how to build the basics. Alright guys, so to start our steam locomotive build, we are going to need a frame. Now this is the frame I'm going to be using. You guys can rebuild it just from this image alone. It is really simple. Now, what we are going to do is we're going to start with propulsion. I'm going to use thrusters for this one, so I'm just going to chuck thrusters kind of in an array like this, and that will be enough for my frame, because I'm not actually building one for looks today. We are just going to show you how to do it. Now, we're going to start with our coupling rods, so we are going to grab our coupling rod blocks. I don't actually have anything in my inventory for it, so I'm just going to clear it out here. And we are going to go to the X's train mod, and we're going to grab our coupling rod pieces. So we want the coupling rod piece, we want the coupling rod connectors, all of them, the middle, the right, and the left. We do want a crosshead if we want to go for this style, and we want a driving rod end. I normally use that. We also do want the driving rod piece. Now we want the wheel connecting bearing, and we want the driving rod connecting bearing, and that is all we shall need. Just 9 items, you know, the usual. Now, what most people would do, right, is they would take their bearing, they would place it here. Now, this is extremely important. If you do want the wheel weight to look proper and you want it to look normal, you have to weld the wheel onto the thing because you can't actually rotate it. So normally you want this opposite where the coupling rod is, so you would, like, say, put it right there. But we cannot do that because for the piston extension, it has to be here. So we will just put this here on all sides. Now, if you guys didn't understand what I just said because it wasn't very clear, if you want the weight to be opposite where this bearing is, you have to take the wheel, place it on the lift, and then weld it on because you cannot make it rotate, so that is up here. You do normally want that, but in this case we have to always have the bearing right here because we have to have our piston extension so it extends when it goes down and when it goes up, because if it was right here and we tried to push this way, the piston cannot go inwards any more than it already is. So our next step would be, well, normally to place one of these, but as you can see we can't actually place it the right way on the bearing. So what I do is I place it on the lift, I take my weld tool, and I weld it on just like that. So your wheel will move down. That means, well, it's connected. And if it does rotate with the wheel instead of staying straight up like this, well, then you've done something really wrong. And I can only say, well, you screwed up. Alright, so we're going to take our final bit here, and we're going to attach it just like that. Now we will put this on the lift, and we will take our coupling rod piece right here, and we will hope to God that we can attach it. No. Okay, so with the new game engine as well, it has screwed up this. So just like you did with those, you have to place it. Oh, that's a bit close to the edge. We have to place it along on the lift, just like this. It is the most annoying thing in the world. So building a steam locomotive, well, right now in the game's current state, is not fun at all. So now that we've done that, we're going to have to determine the space between these. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just to be sure, we'll cut that off. And we will attempt to weld that on. And we will put this on the lift really quickly. Take this and chuck it like that. And weld that on. So now we can take the remaining parts here, put it there, and then see we need 1, 2, 3. So we just take 3, just like this. 1, 2, 3. Take it off the lift like this. Place it like this, and bing, boom, connect that up, and now we have one full coupling rod. I'm going to do the same on the other side, and I will see you guys there. Alright guys, so now that we have attached it on both wheels, what we are going to do is we are going to get our piston heads ready. So first we are going to prep by attaching a driving rod connecting bearing onto this block, and we are going to do the same over here, just like that. Now what we are going to do is we're going to decide where we want our cylinder to be. So normally we want it to be straight across from this wheel right here in the middle. I don't know why this is so insanely bouncy. Like why? Okay, we're gonna move over here apparently, because it doesn't bounce over here. Okay, so we are going to take our cylinder. We're going to make sure it's level with this where our piston is. So normally I'd say you want to put it like right about here. You want to chuck it, yeah, right about there. That looks good. So we're gonna take our piston. Oh, we can't actually search for it because it's a mod part. I forgot. It's in the Lord Payne's interactive parts mod. It is chilling right about here. We grab our power as piston times 16. We just chuck it right like that, and we'll do the same on the other side. We will extend this out. It actually does need to be 2 blocks away, so this is in the wrong place. We're gonna go right about there. Oh no, no we don't, do we? No, we don't. We want to go like there. I was correct the first time. We want to go 1 block in from the track, just like that. Now what we will do is we will take our crosshead, we will chuck it, not like that, we'll want it like that. There we go. We'll take this on the same side. Now we will take a driving rod bearing right on the end like that. Make it look all big and ugly, but that's fine, that's what we want. Then we will take a driving rod end, just like that. We want to make sure, because this piece has the thick end, just like that on the bottom there. You can see it sort of sticks out a lot more, and then it has the flat end. The flat end should be sticking out, the thick end should be going into the bearing. So just like that, there we go. Now we have that. So what we are going to do next is we are going to put this on the lift wherever we can. There. We're going to take our driving rod piece, we are going to turn it around, chuck it in like that, and do the same on this side. There we go. Now, the driving rods can actually be placed normally for some reason, so you can just place these all in just like this and weld that together. And then you can do the same over here. You can take your driving rod pieces just all along like this, and you can weld it together. So now we have that. It all works, and would you look at that? If you have done it correctly, it should level out to look like that. And if you were to propel it with a button, oh, of course I can't search for one. We'll grab one just from the normal inventory. Check it like that. We'll connect it to only one of the thrusters. If you hold it, we should be moving just like normal. We should get smooth rotations all the way along, just like that. So if that does work for you, then you know that you have completed it successfully. So the next step is I'm just going to do this basic thing. If you guys want to try the complicated thing, I can pull out my connection tool just like this, and this is what the entire system looks like. Get a few angles of that, pause the video where you do need to build that, and there you go. Alright, so next we are going to take our funnel and we're going to chuck it in the place that we want. Now, normally, you'd have your boiler and it would come out to, well, it depends. It completely depends on the class. Now, one of my main recommendations for building a train in general is just to get a reference image. Unless you're trying to build something completely unique and different, then, go from your head. But still get some reference images for ideas and basic positioning of parts of trains. Now, normally, you'd have your boiler come out maybe to about right here. So we will just take it up here, and well, it completely depends actually where you want your boiler to be. So I'm going to go into the detail mod, and I'm going to grab some bits just to show you guys, just to give you an example. I will do a video completely rebuilding a steam locomotive as well. So we will go like here, and we'll grab the R9. And we will chuck this. Will it fit in between these wheels? No, it shall not. But pretty much, you get your boiler here. And something about that, that's like what you want, really. You put it a bit higher up, though. You'd have it like right about there. One block below. Something kind of like that. Now, this would be a very tall, beefy locomotive. So maybe you want an R7. Maybe you want an R7, just to be a bit smaller. There you go, right? So you can also put it one block lower then in that case, and it looks pretty nice like that, I'd say at least. So what we'll do is, say this is the end of our boiler, we'll go one more in, because you never put your funnel right on the end of the boiler. You want to have one block right in front of the boiler. So we'll just chuck that in like that. Now if you do get stuck, you can just, lift yourself out. That's basic scrap mechanic knowledge. Now I have made it a bit wonky, but for the sake of the tutorial, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to go for a very, very simple boiler. We're going to grab the steam block first of all, which is in X's scripted parts, which I believe is below this. No, it'll be above this. Here we go. We will grab the steam block right there. Oh, we do appear to be moving. That is fine. Now what we'll do, just for the sake of it, is we'll grab some panels from the plates mod by Lord Payne. I keep forgetting that you can't search for mod parts, and it is so annoying. I'll just grab the plate here. Now, I'm going to start by taking it, and we will place it just like on this one, except, okay, so a lot of blocks, and I mean a lot of blocks, are not behaving at all. Like, they do not behave how they're meant to after this new update. Like, none. Literally none of the blocks are like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna work. None of them. None of them want to work, and it is actually so frustrating to build with. Like, Axolot, fix the mod support. Like, this is the one time I'm actually mad, because it is impossible for me to build anything, because it is so annoying to have to deal with it. Okay, so next we're going to chuck that there. We're going to place this down like this. And we're going to go along like this. And we're going to go like... Oh, that's one of the points that doesn't work. Great, so we will go 2 up like that. Hope that it stops freaking out, please. Kindly stop. Thank you. Go like this. Go like this. And we shall weld it on right here. There we go. So now when the train moves, if it doesn't move fast enough, which it doesn't anymore because it got a lot heavier, steam will come out of the top of the funnel, just like that. So there's that part of the train done. So the last part, really, for any train, we've decided our propulsion, we've decided this, we've decided that. The next part is just to add your own pizzazz, to add your own flair. The last time that I did my train tutorial, I built one specific train, and well, really it wasn't really helpful because I just showed you exactly how to build this one specific train. Granted, that was 3 years ago, but we get better now. I'm telling you, get a reference image, get everything you need, and do it your own way. What I've given you here is the basics to build a train. The basic ideas, the basic functions. Like, this is what you should do. But I want you guys to decide for yourselves how you're going to do it. How you're going to add your own special things to it. If you're building a completely custom train, go for it. Go wild, do whatever you want. You could add designs however you wish. You could have something crazy coming down over these wheels. You could have it go up, like you could go like up like this. You could have it shoot out like that. Like whatever you want, you can do it. But if you are building a specific train in real life, get a reference image, get diagrams of it, get the actual functionings if you want it to make it look realistic. If you want to do some crazy logic systems, Xavier, he's a great guy. He helped me with everything. He's like one of my best friends, and he can do everything. If you need help with like diesel locomotives, maybe I'll do a tutorial on non-steam locomotives next. But the main thing I'm trying to think here is these are the basics. Pistons, engines, your frames. Like, this is just a standard frame. Like, it's not even a standard. It's just, this is one type of steam train frame. There's so many different ones. You can do whatever you want. This is just an example. You could even have 2 driving wheels. You could have 1 driving wheel, in fact. But the main thing I'm trying to get across is the coupling rods with the cylinder, with the driving rod. That is all basic stuff. The rest is completely up to you, really. Like, you don't even have to do anything else I said. You don't even have to put coupling rods on your train. It's all completely up to you. This is just really the basics to get started. Now, if you guys would like to see me actually build one train in a video for you guys, completely out, just a simple train to show you how to put all of it into an actual functioning train, then make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button and comment below that you do want that. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.